Hey guys, welcome everybody to the Think and Grow Show. Welcome back. My name is Brad Parnell. I'm the host. I'm here with a very special guest, Terry Sullivan. Terry, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. I love the name of your show, by the way. Think and Grow. What a cool name.
Oh, thanks. We had it for a long time as a different name, and I was so inspired by Napoleon Hill and all the authors around that era. I just had to rename it.
Oh, wow. I love it. I absolutely love it, Brad. Thank you. Thanks for the invite.
Well, yeah, well, guys, let me give you a quick intro for Terry before I start asking him some questions. So, we're lucky to have Terry here. He's a renowned expert in LinkedIn and social selling. His passion lies in empowering businesses and professionals to leverage the power of LinkedIn for digital branding and networking. So he brings a wealth of experience, including notable tenure as director of marketing for Verizon Communications. And Terry has dedicated himself to teaching advanced LinkedIn strategies. His focus is on
Yeah,
helping
man.
clients use LinkedIn to find, connect, and build relationships with potential prospects, and ultimately increasing sales and enhancing their digital presence. Does that sound good, Terry? Is that a good intro for you?
Well, that's the best one I've heard in a long time. Usually they go, "Here's Terry."
Take it
Yeah,
away.
great. Yeah, exactly. Great intro. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So, Terry, I got the privilege of seeing you speak live a couple months ago, and I loved your presentation and how you're able
Oh,
to
thank you.
involve, engage in the audience, give some really good, tangible takeaways
Oh,
for those of us using LinkedIn.
oh, thank you. Thanks for that wonderful compliment. Very motivational there, Brad. Thank you. It makes me feel like it's all worth it.
It is all worth it, and one of the things I'll have to ask you as a first question is, as a LinkedIn and personal branding expert, what would you say are some of the common mistakes that people are making on LinkedIn and maybe some ways they could avoid them?
Okay. Yeah, I think one of the biggest mistakes I see on LinkedIn is, you know, number one, your branding headline. You get 220 characters to tell people who you are, what you do, and how you can help. And so many people, they're especially business owners. I work with both business owners and job seekers, but they just want to sell. They just, hey, buy my product. So they put their title in there and their company name. Some of them even put their phone number in their branding headline, Brad. And it's against the bylaws of LinkedIn to put a phone number in your or email address in your branding headline. If you do that, they theoretically, could shut you down. So I think one of the biggest mistakes I see, Brad, is people not really describing who they are, what they do, and how they can help in that branding headline. And instead, they'll have, I am the founder and owner of BuzzPro. Whew, you got me excited. What is BuzzPro, and do I really care that you're the founder of it? I don't care, but so I'm the founder of BuzzPro. That'd be a better title. And then, here's the things that I really have a lot of passion for. Digital marketing, LinkedIn branding, a keynote presenting, and and then the end result in terms of how I can help you is your buzz is my biz. So you get seconds, Brad, to capture the attention of people with your branding headline. And when you do a search, 10 people will show up on LinkedIn and you'll see their branding headlines. And if you just see founder of BuzzPro, you're not going to be motivated to click on that link and learn more about that person. So the best thing you can do, the best tip I can give you in terms of what I see the biggest violation of is create a branding headline that tells people who you are, what you do, and how you can help, and have it be your brand and the way you communicate on LinkedIn. That's the second thing is be as personal as possible. Write the way you talk. So many people will have a resume, even if they own a company, Brad, and they'll just copy and paste the various sections of their resume into their LinkedIn profile. Well, your resume is written in third person. You need to write your summary section, your about section in first person with nice short paragraphs. So write the way you talk. Don't write in third person, write in first person, and really try to capture the attention of your audience and show them how you can help them and how you want to engage with them. Make it as much as possible about them instead of you and your company. So those are the two biggies: the branding headline and people kind of writing their LinkedIn profile to make it look like their resume.
Yeah, that's such a good tip, Terry. Thank you for sharing that. We talk all
Mhm.
the time about the hero's journey with businesses we work too, and it's like, hey, guess what, guys? The hero is not you. You're not the hero in the
Yeah.
story.
Wow, that
you're
is
you're sim-
really a great point.
you're simply the guide, and your dream customer is the hero. Make it all about them and how you're helping them get to their goals.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I know at the presentation you were at, we I brought in one of my clients, Larry Levine, who, as you know, is the founder of Chili's restaurants. And so when I first started working with him on his brand, he's like, "Okay, buy my product. I'm a consultant. Let's get busy." And like, dude, they don't even know who you are. So you have to kind of take it a
Mm,
little slow and build that trust rapport, and then have a conversation with people. And that's what I tell people. You use LinkedIn to find people, connect with them, develop trust and rapport, but just as soon as possible, you want to take your online discussion offline. That's where the
mm,
sales happens. That's where the real magic happens. And I love your hero uh, strategy. Talk to the heroes, right? And find out more
yeah,
about your heroes instead of trying to
yeah.
sell your products, because they're not interested in how much you know or what you can do until they figure out how much you care. That's kind of how LinkedIn, should operate.
So good. I love that. So, in your opinion, how has LinkedIn evolved over the years? And I'd be curious too. What are some of the upcoming trends maybe you foresee on the platform?
Wow, AI, here we go. Yeah, LinkedIn has changed. In the early days, it was LinkedIn and it was very feature rich. Then they took away some of the cooler features and put them in their premium products, like the business version of premium version of LinkedIn and Sales Navigator, and that's okay. But I've seen it. It's amazing. People always say, Terry, why don't you write a book about LinkedIn? And I've got friends who are LinkedIn experts, and they have garages filled with books that are obsolete. It just changes daily. I mean, every day something new is going on. But in terms of what's changed with LinkedIn, I think that it's much more secure now. I think it's much more beneficial for the end user. They've added some amazing sections, like the featured section, which is really great, especially if you write content and give back to your community. The featured section really showcases, your articles that you've written or someone else's if you want to curate, content. It's also, they've gotten rid of some things that I thought they should have gotten rid of. Um, you know, it, they they're making some new changes I'm not real happy with. So, for example, in the last couple of months, I they've limited the number of connection requests you can send
Mm,
with a detailed message, which is really a travesty because like on Facebook or Instagram or Snap or whatever platform you use, it's just like, follow or connect or like or whatever. But LinkedIn's always been a place where you have to kind of get that permission from the other side before they accept your connection request. And so to do that, you write a personalized little message. Hey, Brad, I see you own this amazing digital marketing company. And, it was great talking with you at the Keller Chamber. And I would absolutely love to connect with you, as compared to me just going connect and you having to think, now, where did I meet Terry? Going to my profile to see who am and what I'm all about. So some of the changes I really like the featured section, the extended about section. Um, you know, they've reduced the number of skills that are apparent from 3 to 2, which I thought wasn't needed.
mm,
Same thing with the recommendations from 3 to 2, and that's okay. I get it. Now they've extended the total number of skills that you can have from 50 to 100. No one is ever, ever, ever going to look at, featured skill number 93. They're just not
yeah,
going to do it.
yeah.
So, and then, I've heard in the future, in the next 30 days, they're going to eliminate a visual aspect of their profile. And we've always had the option to shut off or turn on viewers of this profile also viewed. And
Hmm.
that shows up on the right hand side. And I've always told everybody, get rid of that, because on your main profile branding page, if you have that turned on, there's 10 people that do exactly what you do, and
Mm,
people will click in and out of your profile within seconds.
wow.
And so what happens, so now what's going to happen is they're going to call it something else, but you're not going to have the option to shut it off, which I think is really kind of bad, really. So So there's some really great things that they've enhanced, their app with. I mean, just and, of course, AI. This, every app under the sun is incorporating AI into their,
Yeah.
applications, and now you can use AI to create a branding headline. Within LinkedIn, you can use AI to create an about summary section within LinkedIn, and I think that's really cool. I totally embrace AI. I absolutely love it. I'm a certified Jasper AI trainer, and I use Jasper to write the first draft of everything and anything I send out that is educational in nature, whether it's an article, a post, a LinkedIn recommendation. I use AI, and I always rewrite it because the end result is kind of stuffy or doesn't sound like me, but it's so very helpful. So some amazing positive changes and some kind of aggravating changes, especially coming in the near future that I'm aware of. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So it sounds like a lot of things coming and a lot of things going. We just got to keep
Yeah.
rolling with what they what they say. This is final and approved, and what you guys have to use.
Yeah. 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 The other thing that they've changed going forward, not to interrupt you, Brad, but they've limited the number, like I said, they've limited the number of personalized, like I said, connection requests you can send. I didn't give you the number, I don't think. So I think it's 10. So it
Oh
might have
wow,
changed last time I saw.
wow.
Yeah. So that's the aggravation point there. It's like it was unlimited, it was free. It's that's what LinkedIn's all about. Hey, I met you here and there, like I said earlier. And so now after 10, you can still connect with. Last I heard, the numbers are changing, and I've heard different, numbers, but like you can click on connect a sizable number of times, but you can only send out a few with the free version of LinkedIn, a handful of connection requests with a personalized message, which is going to dramatically reduce the number of people that will connect with you if you're using the free version of LinkedIn. Because people just you have to kind of either reference something. I've always said, hey, reach out and connect with someone, look at their profile, and find something of interest to you. Hey, I know Brad Parnell. Let's get connected. Or hey, we both went to Texas State. Or hey, we're both marketing leaders. Let's get connected. As compared to just going connect. And so now that feature's only you can do that. I think, unless it's changed, 10 or so times per month, which is really kind of sad.
Per month, that's shocking. Thinking about getting people back in the world and networking groups and how many people you meet in a room. If you can only do
Yeah,
10 of those a month, that's such a small
yeah,
percentage of people that you might want to have genuine, authentic connections with and write that story. Um,
yeah.
that's surprising.
No, that's right. Well, I heard that. Of course, I searched for reasons why did they do this, and Microsoft owns LinkedIn, and so they're in the business of making money. So I get it. But I heard that recruiters that are not paying for a premium version of like Recruiter Lite or Recruiter, they're reaching out and connecting with people saying, "Hey, Brad, I got an opening for a CEO of a company. Let's get connected."
Mm.
And so I think they're trying to get more people to buy their premium products. I guess that's all I can figure.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, unfortunately. So, Terry, I would love to switch gears for a second and maybe
Sure.
hear if you could share a success story of how effective personal branding on LinkedIn has helped one of your clients achieve some of their goals.
Oh, for sure. And I've got many stories about successes. Let me see. Which one? Well, if you don't mind, I'll just, tell you my story.
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
Okay. So many years ago, I was executive at Verizon Telecommunications, and I was laid off in 2010. And boy, right towards right in the middle or tail end of a horrible recession, and two kids getting ready to go to college. It was very frightening. And so I just, as I was looking for a job, I just started helping people. And, I would help 1 to 2 people per day, hundreds of people a year. And funny things started happening, Brad, as they all started landing jobs. And so when you know, I got a call from this lady. Her name was Lisa Woodard, and she was a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, who had been laid off. And she's a Rice University graduate, super smart lady. And she called me up. She goes, "Hey, Terry, guess who landed a job as Chief Marketing Officer with Transamerica?" I said, Holy cow, congratulations. She said, no, well, that's not why I'm calling. It's payback time. And I said, what does that mean? I didn't know payback time. I was just helping all these people. What do you mean payback time? She goes, well, I'm bringing in my 2,500 largest business clients. And they all own
Wow.
businesses. They all own insurance agencies. And I want you to come to present to these 2,500 people. I said, okay. And she said, well, how much would you charge? And I'll just give you the number. I mean, I'd never done anything like that. I mean, I made, a few $100s here or there because I was looking for a job.
Mhm.
And she said, I said, well, make it $8,700 plus expenses. And she goes, okay, send me an invoice. What? So
It's too
8,700
easy.
bucks. Yeah, yeah. Wait a second here. And so I told my wife, I said, I'm going to put a business plan together and I'm going to see if I can make this work. This was in 2010. So it's,
Mm.
2024 now. So it's done very, very well. So anyway, so I took my wife. We flew to LA and it was so funny. We were walking the night before my presentation, Brad, we were walking up and down Hollywood Boulevard and about 20 some odd people with, cameras and microphones, everything, they ran up to me on Hollywood Boulevard and right across, right by the Chinese Palace and Chinese Theater, and they interviewed me, and my wife and I ended up on the Jimmy Kimmel show that night.
Unreal.
Right, unreal, yeah. And so then I'll send you the video. It's absolutely fun to watch. It's really, really, really cool. And so the uh, the media company or department from Transamerica, somehow or another, they caught wind of it. They recorded it. And so as I gave this big keynote presentation the next morning, right before it, they played this video. I couldn't believe it. And it just lightened everybody up and engaged everybody. I presented and I came home and I had close to, I think, 70 people from different companies who all said, can we hire you to do the same thing for our company or organization?
Wow.
And
Wow.
I told my wife, I said, I'm not going back to Verizon. I'm going to start a business. And so that even last year, 13 years later, I worked with a big chain of banks out in California with, someone hired me who was out in that audience at Transamerica in that Transamerica presentation. So the moral of the story is, you know, LinkedIn is an amazing place to find and connect and develop relationships with people. It's just it's nothing like it really. And the second thing is you have to. The trick with LinkedIn is you have to talk like yourself. You have to be very humble and communicate as personable as you can because if you're stuffy, people run from you because they think you're trying to sell them something. And and then also um, just give back to your community, right? Like I give back to my community. When I met you, that was a free presentation, and I give 100 presentations a year, and 70 of them plus are for free. And why do
Mm.
I do that? Like I gave a presentation to 250 people last week, downtown Dallas, last Thursday, Meeting Planners International, and I just did it for free, and I got 3 paid gigs out of it before I left the building. So it's all about giving back to your community. I'm working right now with a consultant PhD out of Canada, and this person called me up and said, "Man, I want to hire you." I said, "Well, who are you? What do you want?" And so I started talking to her, and I said, "Well, how did you hear about me?" And she said, "Well, um, I saw a response that you had given to an influencer, and I thought your response was simply amazing. And I just wanted to call and introduce myself. And now that I've met you, I want to hire you." So
Wow.
it's all about being personable with your communications. Be yourself and be warm and friendly. Make it about them, and always give back to. I call it servant leadership, but give back to your community as much as possible, and that's always worked for me. Larry Levine, that's what I'm teaching him. It's that Larry Levine, the founder of Chili's. It's like he's like, Terry, all these people are telling me I need to go out and get new customers, but I'm not even sure where to start. And I
Mm.
said, you start by helping people and giving to them unconditionally.
That's so good. It's such a great tip. Such a great tip. So, what would you say, Terry, are some key elements of a strong personal brand on LinkedIn? And maybe how
Yeah.
can individuals leverage those to stand out?
Per Perfect. Great question. So the largest component or element of your LinkedIn profile is your banner image, and probably one or two out of four, LinkedIn profiles I see, they still have the three shades of gray up there with nothing up there. In the old days, before me, actually, there used to be a term called above the fold,
Hmm.
and newspapers that would print, newspapers, they would make sure on the top half of that newspaper they put a leading story with a leading photo so they could get people to buy their newspaper. Well, that's what you want to do with that banner image. Have a banner image that tells a story. So, for example, I worked with Emma Minto. She was the SVP in charge of women's apparel for Nike up in Portland, Oregon. And I helped her land a job running Crocs as general manager out of Denver. And I asked her, I said, Emma, I want a picture of you presenting to your audiences. You have over 1,000 people in your downline. Just send me a picture. She said, I don't have one. And I said, okay. I said, don't you have a mountain near your home? She goes, well, right out my backyard. I'm looking out my business office window. I can see Mount Hood. I said, great. Take a picture of Mount Hood with your iPhone in landscape mode. And that's what you could, she uses it to this day. But now she can say that that banner image, that photo, that's my backyard. So
Hmm.
she has a story, right? So if you want to live in Dallas, okay, have a picture of Dallas. If you're a presenter and you're engaging, have a picture of you presenting. Just it, a lot of people are mountain climbers. You know, it's like Lisa Woodard. She's a triathlon person, so we had a picture of her, doing some athletic kind of things. And so number two, um, have a branding headline that tells people who you are, what you do, and how you can help, and stay away from a branding headline that that is just a title. No one cares. They don't care what your title is. And number three, make sure you complete your contact info section, so it'll link right underneath your branding headline, and make sure you include your vanity URL. What do I mean by that? When you first sign up for LinkedIn, you get a URL and it's got your first name with a hyphen in between your first and last name and a bunch of characters at the end. That destroys the ability for people to find you for your number one searchable term. So if you get on Google and do a search for Terry Sullivan and LinkedIn, I'll be on the first page of the results because I've got my name strategically located throughout my profile, but especially in my contact info section as it as my vanity URL. Take out the hyphens and all the special characters so you can be found for your first and last name. And then thirdly, make sure you include contact information. I can't tell you how many times people uh, they go to your LinkedIn profile, they want to do business with you, and people, like I said, they want to talk to you, right? They want to get the heck off of LinkedIn, and they if they have to send you a message, um, many times they won't do it. You'll lose it. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that happen where I sit in my recruiters. I train 4 recruitment agencies how to use LinkedIn, and I'll sit in their office, and they're just all frustrated because they've got a candidate and there's no phone number. They'll go, I'll just go on to the next person.
Wow.
The other thing, yeah, the other thing is max out your about summary section. You get 2,600 characters, and max that out with as many. I like to include 3 sections, right? Your first section of your about summary section is basically your 10-second elevator speech, right? It's who you are, what you do, and how you can help in sentence format. So, don't just start off by saying, "Hey, this is what I can do for you." Tell them who you are. Hey, I'm the founder of BuzzPro. I have a tremendous experience in digital marketing, LinkedIn training, et cetera, et cetera. And I have a real passion for helping my clients learn how to maximize LinkedIn and social selling to drive new business, and so something along those lines. And then the second section is, tell them a little bit about your why and how you like to help people, right? So, and if you're, by the way, if there's someone out there looking for a job, you should have 3 to 5 quantified success bullet points placed in order of importance to brand from most to least important. So it's a different strategy for, a business owner versus a job seeker. But a job, if you own a business, you want to really sell them on, what's your passion? What's your story? How did you get in what you're doing, to get to where you are? and what can you do for me, that kind of thing. And then lastly, so many profiles I see, probably half of them or less, maybe a little less, they don't have a CTA anywhere in their profile. And you really need to have a call to action at the end of your about summary section. You don't want to sell, but you want to say, hey, Brad, let's get connected. And when we do, I'm going to give you, some free information. I'll send you a link to my LinkedIn tips document with chock full of great tips that you can start using right away. And if you have any other questions, please go to speakwithterry.com and set up a free 15-minute call with me. I'd be happy to answer any questions free of charge. And oh, by the way, please connect with me on LinkedIn. So
Yeah.
that's a good CTA, right?
Yeah.
I'm not selling them everything. I'm giving them stuff. Here's the link to my LinkedIn tips. Hey, you got questions? Here's set up a call, 15-minute call with me. It's not going to cost you anything. So it's give, give, give. And then
Mm.
they end up, not only do they end up buying from you, but even more importantly, they become your chief advocates. Probably 90% of the people that I work with were referred to me from someone that I helped in a free presentation. Pretty interesting. And then experience section, just make sure that you link any businesses that you've worked at or that you're working at to your LinkedIn company page. And you can tell if you've linked it because there'll be a logo out to the left-hand side. If there's not a logo there, it's not linked. And if you own a company and you don't have a LinkedIn company page, create one right now. Go to speakwithterry.com and I'll tell you how to do it. It's super simple. It takes a little bit of time, but it's really, really, it's like a mini website, and you have to link that LinkedIn company page to your profile. If you don't do that, if someone clicks on your company name in the experience section, it'll take them out to a general search page where there'll be a whole bunch of competitors that do the same thing you do. It just pushes business away. And then a couple other things, Brad, is that you want to max out your skills section with 50 terms. Use words that are strategic to your brand, right? Stay away from words like Microsoft Windows or Microsoft Office. Name one person you know who's not using a Microsoft Windows kind of like product. I mean, it's a fabulous product, so you don't need to put it in there. Or if a term that's too general, like leadership or management. Whew, you got me excited, right? Terry's really good at management. So are 10 billion other people. But if you put some adjectives in front of that, like LinkedIn training and social selling leadership, now you got my attention and it's more searchable. It describes my brand a lot better. So use words that are strategic to your brand. Lean more on the side of brand than
Mm.
SEO,
Mm.
search engine optimization. Yes, you want to be found for these keywords, but if people find your brand, they find you on LinkedIn, and they don't know what the heck you do for a living, what good is it, right? The guy that first got me into LinkedIn, boy, you could put in any term you wanted. I mean, any kind, plumber, whatever. It seemed like you could find him so easily with a search on LinkedIn. But once you got to his profile, I couldn't tell what he did. He had everything in there. So
Wow.
um, yeah, so be, lead, you definitely max out your skills section with 50 terms, but use terms that are strategic to your brand, and then lean on the side of brand, words that have a strategic branding quality over SEO. That's super important.
Wow.
And then
A
lastly,
man, a plan, a canal, Panama.
Sorry, my iPad started
uh,
talking to me
uh,
here.
that's okay. And then lastly, in your recommendation section, make sure you have at least two recommendations from every year, right? So you should have, if I go to your LinkedIn profile, you should have two right now. Because if a lot of people, I look at their profiles and the last recommendation they got was from 2010. It's like, wow, where you been the last 14 years, So
Yeah.
make sure you have two recent recommendations, and they can be from anybody. I mean, I have just under 1,000 recommendations, and everybody I help, I go, hey, would you please recommend me? And I'm always amazed. I'm not. Maybe you can tell me why this happens, Brad, but I help people all the time. I present for free, and I give them free advice on my calls that they set up with my speakwithterry.com. And only about, I don't know, 60 or 70, maybe 60% will actually, hey, would you please recommend me after I've helped them, presented to them? I'm always amazed at that, but I guess they don't
Mm.
really understand just how important it is for me to get recommendations. And in many cases, I've given them free advice that would have cost them hundreds of dollars. And I'm like, okay, take 2 minutes to write a recommendation. They still don't do it. So,
Wow.
but a lot of them write incredible recommendations they're so important. If you go to my buzzpro.com website, you'll see that I have 3 recommendations on the bottom of every one of my pages of my buzzpro.com website because it increases the verisimilitude or the believability, or
Mm.
in the world of social media, the social proof of my brand. And so I take them right out of LinkedIn and with their permission. And so they're very, very important to me, both on LinkedIn and on my website. Yeah,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
love that.
So those are some
Well,
of my highlights. And there's a whole nother set of suggestions for social selling. But in terms of brand, those are some of my suggestions.
and those are huge, Terry. Thank you so much for sharing those.
Hmm.
And listeners, go
Yeah,
back and re-listen to that because Terry literally gave you the playbook for LinkedIn success. And like he mentioned, we see all the time, hearing things without taking action does not grow your business. And the difference
yeah,
between people that are successful and that are quote unquote lucky are the ones that actually take action on sound wisdom and counsel. And Terry has a tremendous amount of experience and just
well,
gave
thank
you
you.
the full like step by step playbook. So I would recommend going back, taking notes, and doing it. Don't say you're going to do it sometime. Do it now because those are incredible tips.
Absolutely.
And appreciate you sharing those, Terry.
Yeah, man.
So with the rise of video content on social media, how important do you think it is for professionals to incorporate video into their LinkedIn strategy?
You know, I struggle with this one because I love video. Um, I think there's a perception on LinkedIn still that, hey, I'm going to watch this video later because I don't have the time now. I think they still like to read over, watching video. But uh, I have a really good friend, Fanny Dunnigan, who's, oh my gosh, she is like a influencer plus, and she's in the tech space, and she's, this amazing video producer, and she does that for her clients. And it's phenomenal. I love video for educational purposes. I think it's great. So I think it's incredibly important, but I don't think it has really caught on like it has maybe like with TikTok or Instagram. It's all video, right? But LinkedIn, I think it's people still just want to look, scan. If they see something they like, they go deeper into it. So, but I think
Yeah,
it's becoming more and more of a piece of LinkedIn every day, an important part of LinkedIn every day.
yeah, that's great. I think so too. It's amazing how you can. I always like to tell people, hey, how many coffees or how many lunches can you have a day? this
Yeah,
the,
exactly.
the next best way is through video. How to connect.
Yeah, no, that's
Um,
exactly right.
So Terry, for someone maybe just starting out on LinkedIn, maybe they're hearing this, maybe they've had a LinkedIn and you've kind of inspired them to get back into it. What would be your top 3 pieces of advice
Okay.
to quickly build a strong presence?
Okay, so number one, remember that LinkedIn branding is the foundation. So that's the starting point. So you have to have a brand that tells people who you are, what you do, and how you can help. That's a must, right? And it has to be consistent. Your What you tell people about who you are, what you do, and how you can help online, on LinkedIn, on your other social media platforms, if you're using them like Facebook or Instagram, what have you, it needs to be consistent from platform to platform to platform. Your brand needs to be consistent from offline to online. I can't stress that enough. It's super important. But once you get your LinkedIn brand accomplished, and I highly recommend your audience, they go out, connect with me on LinkedIn. And when they do, I'll send them a link to my LinkedIn tips document. And it's, this mass, it's a very, very big document where they can actually go through in detail, learn in detail what they need to do to have a very effective LinkedIn brand. But once you get that foundation complete, Brad, they absolutely have to have a very strong social selling strategy. And
Mhm.
you're like, well, what the heck is social selling? Well, first of all, you never sell on LinkedIn, right? Never. If you sell on LinkedIn, people will run from you. If someone, a lot of times my clients will say, hey man, I'm getting connected. I connect with these people and they immediately try to sell me something. Well, I'll ask them, what are you doing about that? Nothing. I unconnect with them, block them, right? So if you are, if someone reaches out and connects with you, and immediately starts selling you something with messaging or you know, just because I give that person permission to connect with me doesn't give them license to bombard me with sales messages. You know,
Mm,
do all your selling offline. But one of the best things I can tell you is that you want to implement an effective social selling strategy. The first thing someone should do is go out to linkedin.com/sales /SSI. That's linkedin.com/sales /SSI and see what your social selling index is.
mm,
And you want to, hold yourself accountable. Your social selling index should be 75 to 80 points, right? Somewhere in that range, in my view. But what does it measure? So number one, my tip number one, I'm going to give you four of them here, is to get your social selling index between 75 and 80%. And open up LinkedIn, and then in your browser up at the top, just go type in linkedin.com/sales /SSI. Look at your overall score. It should be 75 to 80%. Now, of your social selling index, there's four components to your SSI score, right? The first one is your brand. If you implement all of the changes that I kind of covered today, and I covered detail in my LinkedIn tips document that I can send to you when you connect with them, your branding score will be above 15%. The next one is finding and connecting with the right kind of people, right? And that's a whole nother discussion, but you have to get in the habit of, on a daily basis, reaching out and connecting with people that you'd like to get to know and network with and maybe do business with, right? And then the third one is engagement. And one of the best tips I can give you, I give back to my community in a big way by presenting. Give back to your community. Give, give, give. That's what it's all about. And you want to like, comment, or share on 3 posts per day. Use LinkedIn 15 to 30 minutes a day. I don't use it more than 30 minutes a day ever, unless I am trying to, accept connection requests from a big audience like I did last Thursday.
mm.
You want to, so engagement. You want to like, comment, or share on 3 to 5 posts per day, and curate or write an original, a couple of original articles per week. So what does that mean? So you could go to feedly.com. I love it. It's a news aggregator. It's a wonderful app, and it's a news aggregate. It's a news aggregator, and you can set it up to provide articles on topics that you want to repurpose or curate. So twice a week, you want to like, comment, or share in 3 to 5 posts per day, but twice a week, you want to curate a couple of articles, and I would highly recommend if you use feedly.com. It's free, and so you can quickly access some great content that's not copywritten, that ties into your brand. And then lastly, it's all about the fourth thing that your social selling index will show you is, are you building relationships? And that's the most important component of your social selling index score. If you get on LinkedIn every day for 15 minutes, maybe up to 30 minutes, if you start sending out and accepting connection requests and sending out new connection requests every day, just a few, if you uh, like, comment, or share in 3 to 5 posts per day and curate a couple articles per week, that's your engagement. If you do those kind of things, your SSI score will go up, and your end result, your productivity, whether that be, you're looking for new clients, you want to increase the size of your network, or, some other goal like maybe finding a job, the higher the likelihood that will happen. So I know you asked for 3, but there's 4, Brett.
That's incredible, man. Thanks for sharing those. And guys, again, um, these are golden tips here. So go back and re-listen to this, and I would just make a list of this. We'll try to list these out in detail too in the show notes. But take this stuff in. Terry's given you some great golden nuggets here. And then Terry, for those that want to connect with you on LinkedIn to get
Yeah.
that those free tips, they just search for Terry Sullivan on LinkedIn.
Yeah, just Terry Sullivan, Dallas, and just when you connect with me, just I send it to everyone, but I'll send you a link. It's called LinkedInTips.com, and you can just go there and download my LinkedIn Tips document. And then if you have any questions, every day between 4 and 5, I take 2 free calls, right? And so if you have any questions, you can go to speakwithterry.com. It's not going to cost you anything, and set up a call with me. I'll be happy to assess, take a look at your brand, and give you some tips on how you might want to make it better if you're brave enough to accept the criticism and suggestions. And or answer any other questions. So speakwithterry.com, and then also go to you can go to my buzzpro.com website, and you could also I've got some content there that talks about all the things that I talk about in my presentations. And so buzzpro.com, check it out. Connect with me on LinkedIn, and then speakwithterry.com if you have any questions at all. If you want to learn more about you know Jasper AI or whatever, just set up a call with me, and I'd be happy to walk you through and answer any other questions you may have.
Well, Terry, you've been a great resource and wealth of knowledge here and some incredible
No,
practical
thank you,
things for
Brad.
everyone to
Yeah,
do. So
thank you.
thanks for joining me today.
Oh man, it's been such an honor, and thank you for the invite to, for me to join your wonderful program here. And I love it, Think and Grow Show. I just love it. So, Brad, I'll be talking to you, and I look forward to seeing your content on LinkedIn. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thanks for joining us, Terry. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you next time.